Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking you through an introduction to the library services available to you at Une Library. This is a broad overview on the services that we offer and a really quick introduction to using the library. So at the end of this presentation, I'll give you some more information on some in-depth classes that you can take from the library, which go into a little bit more detail than we're going through today. So first of all, I'm going to be taking you through broadly your borrowing rights and then where you can find more information about how you can borrow at UNE Library. So for all of those students that are off campus, you can request books for loan to be posted out to you. You'll receive a reply paid postage sticker to return the book to UNE Library for free. Just note that all books are subject to recall, so that means if another student needs to borrow the book that you currently have, you'll be required to return it earlier. And note that all of these library notices, including notices for recall, are sent to your UNE email address, so it's really important that you check your UNE email address regularly. And I'll take you through the website in a second about all of those loan conditions as well. If you want to follow along at home, I've put a little breadcrumb trail at the bottom of the page. So it's une.edu.au/library. And then if you have a look at the top part of the page under the borrowing tab and then borrowing from home for more information. Something that a lot of students don't know we have is a mechanism for us to digitize items from the library. So if you don't need to use a whole book, for example, you only need to use a chapter, you can place a request to have that chapter digitized and emailed to your account. This also is the same for things like older journal articles. So sometimes we hold older print journals as opposed to the majority of our journals which are available online. So with those older journal articles, what you can do is request that item be digitized, again, and emailed to your account. It's also important to note that the library has a reserve collection of all the current prescribed textbooks for your units. So while these textbooks can't be borrowed by external students, they are available for you to request a digitization. Now, we are bound by copyright law, so please keep in mind that any digitization of a book that you request, you can have one chapter or 10% of that book, whichever's greater. And so if you reach that limit, unfortunately, that is the limit for you. So again, if you go to the borrowing tab and then borrowing for home for more information, there's also some extra videos on that page which take you through the requesting process. Something that a lot of students also overlook is your ability to borrow from other institutions, and this is called the Yulin Scheme. So UNE staff and students can apply for in-person borrowing rights at participating libraries, that's University Libraries of Australia and New Zealand. So if you have another university which may be closer to home, you can take a look at the list and apply to go borrow their books in person. So there's more information from borrowing and then the borrowing elsewhere tab. Okay, so what I might do before I take you to this finding resources page is actually show you on the library website where those borrowing information can be found. So if we have a look, we've got the UNE Library front page and then borrowing from home. So like I mentioned before, it takes you through those videos, how to request a digitization, how to request a book, your loan periods, and where you need to return your books to. And again, if anybody's interested in that Yulin scheme, we can come across to borrowing elsewhere. And then it gives you a little bit more information as to how to use that service. So the next part of this session is on how to find resources from UNE Library. So we have a lot of resources available to us, that is physical books, journal articles in databases online, newspapers, you name it. And the way that you search for these particular items, one of the ways is through the purple library search bar. So if we look for a book, for example, I like to search for the title of the book as well as maybe the first name of the first author. So we'll go for Laying Down the Law and Cook. So you can see this is our first result here, and it says multiple versions found, which means that there are multiple editions of this particular book. So something that I want to point out to you is this Get It tab. So whenever you see Get It in the library catalogue, it means that this book is physically available in the library to borrow. So we can see we have 2 copies of this textbook, one in Dixon Library and one in the Law Library. Sorry, 2 copies in the Law Library. If you wanted to request this book to be posted out to you, for example, all you would need to do is sign in for more options and look for a couple of buttons in terms of digitization or borrowing from home in this tab here. So just remember, physical items have this Get It tab. Let's look at another book. So I wanted to show you what an ebook looks like. So here we've got microeconomics. And you remember with Laying Down the Law, it had that Get It tab, but it looks like we also have microeconomics available as an ebook, and that's indicated by this button which says online access, but also because there is this View It tab. So if I click on that tab, it's going to say full text available at the ProQuest eBook Central. If I click through that blue link, you will be prompted to log in, and then it should take you through to the page where the ebook sits. So you're able to read this ebook online or download chapters as you need. So that was just the difference between the Get It tab and the View It tab, which is quite important for you when requesting a book. Something that students can miss as well is this blue Google search bar, which sits behind the UNE library search bar. Now, it's important to note that if you use Google from here, it recognizes that you are a UNE student. So if we just do a quick search, you can see that from Google Scholar, it recognizes that we're from UNE and gives us these options. So we're subscribed to this particular journal and we can access it from this database. If it doesn't have the PDF immediately available, you can search for it in the UNE catalog as well. So just make sure when you're beginning your searches to check Google Scholar as well. It's a really great starting point for you. Okay, let me go back to the PDF. We've talked about the purple library search bar and we've talked about the Google Scholar search bar as well. So make sure that you have a play around with those and get used to them, especially in terms of using your keywords as well. Okay, so UNE Library has also compiled something that we call subject guides, which are guides that are specific to your particular study area, and they're a really comprehensive starting point for you to get started with your research. So I'll take you through them in a second. Firstly, go by your school and then by your discipline to access things like ebooks and particular databases related to the area. You can also find your specialist librarian and book an appointment through the site as well. So this is an example of a subject guides page. What I'll do is that I'll take you to the website. So you can find the subject guides from the UNE Library homepage if you scroll down to the bottom under subject guides. And then go to your particular area. So we'll just go to business, for example. Okay. So you'll notice in this specific guide for business, we've got key resources listed at the front. We've got the various ways that you can contact the library. You have the specialist librarians, which can help you with your research, but then also down this left-hand side is how you navigate. So if you're looking for some ebooks, for example, you can take a look through here. Or the databases page, which is where you would start your search for particular journal articles. So make sure you have a look for the guide that's related to your specific study area and take a look at the resources that are listed in there. Okay. Some people also like to ask about referencing management tools. So obviously referencing and writing academically are really important to your university experience. So you need to make sure what kind of referencing style you use. And it's really important for you to check with the Academic Skills Office if you're unsure about which referencing style you need to use. And it's also important to note that there are a range of tools available to you to help manage your references. So for EndNote, I'll take you through to the subject guides. And what we can do there is have a look and see what kind of referencing tools are available to you from the library. So we've got EndNote X9. It gives you the point to download it from. So you can download EndNote on the left-hand side, but also it takes you through the process of how to add references to that particular program. EndNote is a program that is supported by UNE. So if you're a UNE student, you'll have access to any updates to this program for your life here at UNE. However, there are a few free reference managing tools which you can use if you decide to leave UNE in the future, and that is Zotero and Mendeley. So I suggest that you take a look at these guides and have a look and see which one is best for you. We also recommend to students, especially undergrad students, to really get a hold of how to reference, how your referencing style comes together, whether it be APA or Harvard or AGLC. It's really important that you understand the foundations of those referencing styles before you move into a program like EndNote, so you can pick up any issues that come through. I mentioned at the beginning of the class that this is only a very high overview to the library services that we have. So we do have 4 other workshops which go into a little bit more detail about how to use the library and how to use databases in terms of searching effectively for information for your assignments. And you can find these workshops and classes through the library homepage. Now, we are also conducting these sessions online via Zoom so that off-campus students can also attend. So let's have a look on the library website, how to access those classes. So if you just scroll down the page, book a room or workshop, you can see what classes are coming up down on this calendar here, or you can come to class bookings and scroll down. All you need to do is register with the UNE email, and then you'll have access to the classes that we have available here at UNE Library. Okay, so it's really important to take away from this session that you can contact the library at any time. You can do that via phone, email, you can send us a live chat, or you can book an appointment with a librarian. We also have a lot of social media, which you can stay connected with us through. So we've got our Facebook page, we've got a Twitter account, and we've also got the library blog, which are all available for you to access from the UNE Library homepage. That's it for me today. I'll go back to the website and just point out the contact information, which is available to you on the right-hand side of the library homepage. Again, Ask a Librarian is the email service that we have. Book a Librarian is to book a specific 20-minute appointment with your subject librarian to get help with research. Like I mentioned, you can phone us at any time, view our blog, or access the library chat. Thank you.